We should be live right now, so behave yourself. Yep, I think we're live. Do, do, do.
Not on my end yet.
There we are. We are live. Pick Our Brains, episode 24. We should be live right now, so behave. Shit, sorry, I didn't tell you to turn the volume
Oh,
down.
you always tell me.
That was my fault, not yours.
You always forewarn me about technical issues.
I know. Welcome, everybody. I am Ken Genchman, one of your hosts, and he is Max Rubeck with Common Ground Finds. Do you want to show off all your links right away?
My links.
Yeah, you got your
Man,
yellow
oh
sheet of paper.
man, you're making me
Max,
work already.
Max has a really cool YouTube channel called Paper Gold. He has Instagram, whatnot, TikTok. He sells on eBay. Where's your eBay? You don't even have your eBay link on there.
Well, because I think people know me already from that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand.
He's eBay seller, Common Ground Finds, and whatnot seller, Common Ground Finds. And he has a Patreon group, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later.
Oh man, I'm spinning my wheels on some things. Some things I'm far ahead and ready to go, but some things I'm spinning wheels on today.
Yeah, Monday. I got a nice early start this morning, but I had to run to town, drop off my taxes, and pick up newspapers from the post office. And I just finished my listings about a minute before we went live here. So
Yeah, one thing people may not know about you and I, which we should tell them, and I get mad at you for this, and you get mad at me for this, but we don't pay attention to our own advice. We work too much.
yeah, me and Max are hustlers, despite um, you know, not I mean, we don't need to hustle, but we do anyway. We both have money in the bank.
Well, we do it out of passion. We do it out of passion of what we love to do. When you find something you love to do, you just go full out, but I know that I've been working since 6:30 this morning, and you were up probably before me. And
Yeah,
I just put down two hamburgers real quick before this started. So
there's never quite enough time during the day. Junk Man in the chat is here, and he said Max is looking very aerodynamic,
thank you.
cranially aerodynamic. I think is how he described it.
Thank you, junk man. Thank you. I
I
take aerodynamic as a compliment.
I told Max if he ever wants to reach the next level of book selling like me, he needs to step number one. Don't you don't need to spend all morning working on your hair, styling your hair.
Save time, right?
No, I don't know what motivated him to do that.
I mean, I can tell you. I mean, springtime. We're now in spring. We're officially in spring. It gets a lot warmer here really quick. It turns more in the summer than spring.
Yeah.
And it's just, with curly hair, it's just easier to manage in the summertime when you have no curls. So curls tend to get a little frizzy in the summertime.
Okay, how much time do you spend working on your hair when you had more hair? How much time do you
Not
spend?
not much time, but I prefer my curls.
Okay.
I prefer the curls, but I know how easy it is. And I'm in the pool a lot in the summertime. Spring and summer, I'm in the pool every day. And so when it's better just to have no hair, dry off, get back to work.
I agree completely. And we got Tracy Heron in the chat. Hey, welcome, Tracy. So I don't did I I'm trying to think.
You have
Last
a lot going on, so don't you dare not talk about what's going on. You have a lot of things happening.
Well, I will say last Tuesday I ran to Chicago and dropped off some books and picked up some books. So that was a fun little road trip. I got some really, really cool stuff on consignment. Um, Lots of stuff from the 1700s. Some of it's a little on the rough side, but there is some really, really, really cool stuff that I'm excited about. Those auctions actually are going to start tomorrow night through maybe Saturday or Sunday this week at least. Stuff from that collection. And then on the way home, I stopped at Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin to look at a collection that I found on Facebook Marketplace. And I was a little disappointed. There was 400 boxes of stuff. It's hard to tell when they just lay stuff out on a table with some pictures. I
Oh,
could tell there were some
hundreds.
books in the 1800s. I could tell there was a few Easton presses, but I think they showed off the best stuff. And like, there was 400 boxes, so it was a huge mountain of boxes. I maybe went through 50 to 60 boxes of stuff and found that, I mean, it was all nice, clean stuff. If you were opening a bookstore, it would have been
Sure,
great.
sure.
But most bookstores are overflowing with nice hardcover fiction and even like autobiographies and stuff like that. So they were only asking $4,000, so $10 a box. You can't go wrong.
Matter
Um,
of fact, we do have a new paper Galder opening up a brick and mortar bookstore. We should let him
oh
know
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
We should
Well,
probably let him know about it.
I don't know anything about that. Did he say where or what kind of space, or did he give you any more details?
No, but later on, I'll send a message to him. I'll tell him to give you a heads up call.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to hear more about it.
Because an instant, yeah, because 400 boxes is an instant bookstore to start going. So
Yeah, and I think he's just maybe 2 hours from me. He's over in Minnesota, so not too far. I'd love to go check out his space and give him some help or something.
yeah, I think he's getting the keys this week.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Maybe I'll send him a message too. We can
Yeah,
both send
yeah, yeah.
messages. Grayson in the chat saw my unboxing video. The American travel guides piqued his interest. Yeah, I mean, there's some travel guides from like the 1890s all the way back to the 1850s with nice fold-out maps and stuff. I mean, some of them are probably worth 200 to 300 bucks a piece. I'm starting them at 99 cents. You know how it works. So we'll see. I'm very excited. Actually, there's several. There's a couple big sets of the history of England. There's a 10 volume set. Maybe next Monday I'll have to dig it out. There's a 10 volume dictionary set from I think from the 1760s. Huge leather books, 10 volume dictionary set. I mean that may be
That
worth.
sounds
I
like
mean,
something for an auction house.
I don't think it's quite good enough for an auction house. It's probably worth realistically 400 to 500 maybe. So
1700s, 10 volume dictionaries.
dictionary, huge leather volumes and in decent condition, decent enough. So
Any illustrations as well?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
No, but I'm very excited about that. Oh, my phone's going off. Junk man, my storage unit for duds survived a tornado a week ago in Arkansas. Surrounding structures and homes were wiped out. Dang. Yikes. That's why I would never be able to live in that area. The tornado season is scary.
You have a fear about every state other than the one you live in.
Yep, yep. We got a little bit of snow. Nothing too day. Occasionally we'll have tornadoes kind of in the area, but nothing
Florida
like.
has hurricanes.
Yep, yep. They got forest fires in California and different Canada even. So no, I feel safe.
You also have, you don't have to say where or anything, but you do have a couple pallets coming in the books. You may want to talk a little bit about that. Oh, is it three?
Three pallets and new books. Yep, a lot of new hardcovers on like mythology and occult topics. Trying to think. Oh, and classics. There's like Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre and some Darwin books and stuff like that. Nice hardcover books. Those will be up on eBay at the bookstore and then on Whatnot as well. Three pallets. I went a little gung ho and spent a lot of money and ordered way too many books. So I kind of have an area in the back of the store that's designated for the pile of books.
Right. But you may want to add, you didn't buy three pallets of books to unload books as quickly as you can. You're buying books to always sell for the next 5 or so years as well. That's the type of book it is.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them I got five or eight copies. Some of them I ordered 20 or 50. There's a few titles that I ordered like 50 copies of, just because I think it's something that, especially on eBay and Whatnot, I can be selling every week or every other week pretty consistently forever.
Just staple titles that will always sell. And so you make a big purchase ahead of time and you look back in 2 or 3 years and you go, wow, that was a scary smart buy.
Yeah. Yep. No, I mean, I'm going to make money on everything. It's just a matter of how long. I mean, in some of them, if they only had limited titles available, I'd rather just buy a bunch now and have 5 years worth of that title.
Mhm. And before anybody asks, you and I still haven't made that whatnot video we keep talking about.
Nope,
We're
we
gonna
were gonna make it
try.
last night, but then I ended up having to work late, do
We're
some
gonna
late.
try tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yep.
We do have a lot to say about whatnot and what Kent and I have learned through a lot of experimentation, a lot of um, a lot of effort uh, on how to one gain followers, two get bookmarks in your show, and three again sell good books at a fair price and
Yeah.
make a very very nice amount of money selling books live on the auction whatnot network. I feel like when we make this video, it's going to be a little groundbreaking for some people to learn about what we do behind the scenes. They may see us live, you every Tuesday, me almost every day, um, but they don't know the type of work that goes in behind the curtains to prepare. It's not just listing books.
Yeah.
There's a whole other battery of things we have to do that you don't have to do it, but it's what makes a successful show. And I'm excited about sharing that knowledge with people once you and I make that video.
Yeah, I feel like there's plenty of people that just schedule a show, put some books aside, and don't really do any of the prep work, and their shows are usually a flop. But I think there's like 5 steps you could do, or 5 different things you need to be sure to have lined up.
Is it
Um,
5?
I don't know. What do you think?
Probably, I would say 6, maybe 7, actually,
Oh, it could be.
because there's a few small things that we do. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and you and I don't agree on everything either. I mean, I like going into a show 20 minutes early,
Hmm.
chit chatting and sharing it late. You like to call in 5 minutes early. I mean, 5 minutes early. Little chit chat and just get to work.
Yep.
So, not everything that we do is the same thing, but we do get very phenomenal results at the end.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things is we watch a lot of other people's shows and kind of see who's doing what. And even like we'll have a list of topics I'm sure that we could give people. Be like, hey, if you want to have a successful first show, do these few topics. These are killer topics. You could probably sell just about any kind of book. But I would say the only thing is you can't sell low quality junk. You do need to have some decent stuff. It doesn't have to be $100 books, but they do have to be 10 to 15, $20 books.
The
Uh,
most common mistake is that people think they can sell their bad books. I don't want to say junky, but their bad books, put a $3 start price on it, thinking they're going to sell. And so much more goes into a show before you can put a $3 price on a book.
yeah, yep. And I think I am able to slip through some lesser quality stuff, but you do need to have some bangers, some really great stuff to kind of carry the crowd, to keep the crowd around and stuff like that. All right, we got all kinds of questions.
Lots of questions.
Grayson is thinking about starting an IG and Instagram. Just simple photos and descriptions to see how it goes. Yeah, I definitely suggest that.
Mhm.
Follow thousands of other, or hundreds or thousands. I think I follow like I'm maxed out at 7,500 people I'm following on Instagram. Follow all the other book accounts and bookstores and booksellers.
And the paper golders and the
Yep.
whatnotters
Folders. Yep.
and the
Yep.
whatnotters.
Um,
I think it's a great. I think I would love to see Grayson do that because it might, dipping his toe in that water may lead to an ocean of opportunity.
yeah, I mean, I've been building my Instagram. I think I have over 12,000 followers, but I've been building it for probably 5 or 6 years at this point, at least. And I'm active, following people, liking, comments, all that stuff. But at this point, I am able to post stuff and sell stuff. Mostly I just show off books from my personal collection, but I'm constantly getting inquiries on like, hey, is this for sale? How much do you want for this? And I do occasionally do specific, hey, this book's for sale, $100, and it'll sell. But Instagram is a great tool for connecting with other people, buying, selling, all that stuff. It does take a little while to build the following though. Junkman says, "Great glaciers formed the Great Lakes. Watch your back; they move a few inches a day." Uh-oh, very true, very true. Junkman took out a loan to get the Matana book from Max for his 401k. Did he buy one from you? Did you sell him
But
Madonna recently?
yeah, but don't forget, I also have those factory sealed ones, the sex
Ooh,
book. I
oh,
I have 5 copies of the sex book, factory sealed, the Madonna book that I bought years and years ago as an investment.
okay. M. Donnelly says hello. Hey, M. Donnelly. Junkman says, yes, please, whatnot tutorials. I know we've been saying this for probably at least a month that
Yeah.
we're going to make this video.
You know what though? I do think though, if people just learn what we are going to show them,
Yeah.
I think it's the 100% way to make money on these whatnot shows.
And I think this our tips could apply to anything. I've seen some other whatnot show kind of how-to tutorials, and I think they definitely miss out on a few things that we do.
Mhm.
They don't do the marketing like we do. There's a few things that they don't.
Right. And
Um,
let's say this: we're not paying for marketing. We're not putting any money towards marketing, but we do a lot of things behind the scenes to market our book shows.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when I'm sharing my show with different people, different buyers at other people's shows, I can go check in after 15 minutes of sharing it with people and see that, oh, hey, look, so and so pre-bid on some of my listings and bid on some of my listings and followed me and bookmarked. So like guaranteed to get some interest if you do these things and it's going to pay off. And I think it's worth it if I can sell four, five, $600 in a night and have to spend a few hours marketing it beforehand. I mean, it's obviously worth it to get those numbers.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, to me, it's life-changing numbers, and whatnot isn't for everybody though. You know, it does help to have a little bit of a, I don't want to say a persona, but you need to be a little bit of a conversationalist. If you're too introverted, it's not going to be good.
yeah,
Even though there is someone who sells records that doesn't ever talk. But I think what I would say is it helps. It
yeah.
helps.
You have to be a little bit of a salesman and tell people why something's special and why it's valuable.
Yeah.
That helps. It helps to have a little bit of a excitement about the books. All right, we got all kinds of questions. Jeff asked, do the target decals on the jacket detract value? Is he talking about like target advertising, I assume?
When you go to like a Target store
I'm
and
not
they
sure.
and then the book says Target exclusive,
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I I would keep it on there. I wouldn't remove it.
But okay, he's wondering if it detracts. I think not be well, I'm assuming he's talking about a sticker that you could potentially or the buyer could potentially peel off,
Right.
hopefully without too much work. It probably does.
Lighter fluid.
Yeah, yeah. Max uses lighter fluid and then burns the book. And it doesn't stink somehow. Max is when he uses lighter fluid, it doesn't stink.
Did you see like
Um,
that styrofoam?
okay, Max, but if you got some books with Target decals and say it was $100 book, I
Mhm.
think I would try to spend the time to
Yeah,
peel it, don't you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course, of course. But I know you're teasing me about it, but yeah, lighter fluid will take care of that problem in 15 seconds flat.
Yeah.
Uh, no matches, no lighters. You just need lighter fluid, and it will take it right off, and it subsides and dissolves, and it's just like new.
Yep. Oh, Viverka says hi. Sorry, Viverka, I haven't responded to your email, but one second.
He's running from you, Viverka. He's running from you. Look at him. He already took off from the camera.
I have your lot number 14 right here. I don't know why it didn't end up in your box, but I'm going to ship it to you. I have to respond to her email from a couple days ago.
Count the
Um,
pages, Viverka. Count the pages. I wouldn't trust him.
it's still taped shut. I haven't touched it. Junkman says, I don't know how somehow that didn't end up in our box that I delivered last week. Junkman says, I watched the ephemera groups on Facebook and amazed at what people buy quick. Yep, yep. Ephemera people, they're pretty aggressive buyers. Max actually did his first Whatnot ephemera show.
Saturday.
Are you going to do one every couple weeks
I'm
or?
doing one this Saturday.
Okay, perfect.
I'm trying to broaden my horizons a little bit. In all transparency, I did just under $200 for my first show. I think it was like 183 or something.
Mhm.
But it was a great learning experience. And like books, some things sold for less than you think, and then some things sold for a lot more than you would think. And so it's been a little bit of a learning curve for me. And I'm gonna do another one on Saturday, and then the following Saturday, I'm gonna take the ephemera, turn it up a notch, and I'm gonna be doing maps on
Oh,
April
that'll be
5th.
cool.
I'll be doing a map show on April 5th.
What era are the maps?
Oh, I would say early 1900s and 1800s.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, yeah. They have all that color combination of the states and mountain ranges and things of that nature.
Grayson wants to know any thoughts on how changes in the USPS, particular the stated intention of potentially downsizing, could impact shipping costs and affect online store sales.
Oh, you
Well,
have a philosophy about this, Kent.
oh, I think privatize the post office. It's no offense. I hope there's no post office workers working, but some of them are not the fastest working people in the world. I love the carriers, but some of the people that especially work at the checkout counter are
Be
not
careful, Kent. They may be watching.
great. Now I'm going to get banned from the post office. No, I mean, this is one thing that online sellers have had to deal with, especially the last few years. Prices just constantly every quarter going up 5% here, 8% here, 10% here. So I mean, it's definitely, I mean, Media Mail used to be able to ship any book for like $3, $4. Now it's 5, 6, $8 to ship a book or more.
Yeah.
So it's something you have to figure into your model. And I guess one of the things you can do is just try to sell higher value books. Right?
Well, yeah, but one of the things that I was talking about the other day with someone is when I first started eBay, a 1 pound book cost 263 to ship.
Yep.
Now what is it? 469?
For something, yeah.
Close to five.
Yep.
And so I know in the Paper Gold group, we've started to tell people to either raise their prices a couple dollars, but 15 which should be the lowest you're selling a book for, because you don't want to sell an $8 book with $5 shipping or $7 shipping. You're just not going to sell that book very often. So to sort of raise your price or your standard of what you're looking for. My number used to be 12. Now I've edged up into $18.25 to be the lowest dollar book I'll put on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, with my auctions, some of my books do sell for $1 or $2, but then shipping's like $6. So like, I mean, it definitely the math isn't great with fees, and we're unbelievably lucky with Media Mail. Definitely gives us an edge over other sellers that have to ship ground and priority. Though I think at this point, ground is getting not like, but the difference between media and priority is quite a jump. But between Media Mail and ground, it's getting closer and closer to the point where I'm actually stuff I'm buying, a lot of sellers are shipping me stuff ground. So
yeah, and there may come a time when there is no more Media Mail and ground is the only avenue for us.
yeah. 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 And I would say, especially for heavy packages, FedEx seems to be, again, not crazily more expensive to ship a heavy box than Media Mail. Junkman says that he was listening to old episodes earlier, hence the Madonna reference. Yeah. How many copies of the Madonna book do you have?
5.
5. Okay, good. So Max is, when he sells those, he will retire.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm saving them for now. I did have more and I did sell some at one time, but I think I have them listed. I have them listed high at about $900 a piece.
Yeah.
But I think that there may come a time when that book easily gets 2,000 or more.
What's the most then that have you sold one for full price, or are people
Yeah,
local?
yeah. I sold one for I think my price is 888, and I think I sold one. I sold a couple at 888. So the buyers are there. If it's factory sealed, the buyers are there.
Yeah. Tracy says that he loves your interview with Nick Basabanes. I
Great.
haven't listened to that one yet. I'm way behind on the
Oh,
YouTube.
you are behind. Yeah, that was like 4 or 5 ago.
I know I'm way behind. I need to
Yeah,
catch.
no, and yeah, Nick and I go back many, many, many years actually. When I was working in a bookstore in Florida, and he came in as a customer about a year after Gentle Madness came out. So
Wow,
I,
that's
you know,
cool.
I clearly remember him and speaking with him, and it was great to catch up. 30 years later.
And that's cool because that's such a like mainstay in the that
Oh
book is
yeah.
such a mainstay amongst book collectors. So to interview that author is
Mm.
very cool. M. Donnelly has a question about shelving books. Do you recommend facing off the book spines or the ends when shelving? Some say the latter prevents warping. I would say have the spines facing out. Pretty simple. And I will say it maybe makes sense to kind of have them in there snugly so they can't tip or be in there loosely. That might help the binding survive a tiny bit better. But for the most part, or some, I guess some people suggest you stack them flat. I don't think. I mean, the books have survived standing up for hundreds of years, and they will be just fine that way.
And if you're a bookseller, make it easy and efficient and quick for yourself. You don't have to be moving 8 books to get to a second from the bottom book. It just
Mhm.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Viverka wants to know if we have any funny stories related to the post office. Once they refused to ship her 19th century book by media because it had advertising in it.
I don't think there's anything such thing as a fun story with USPS.
I
I
think
think
there's
it tends to be nightmares.
Yeah, I think there's lots of crazy examples lately of books bouncing all over the country before they're finally delivered. Or, I mean, it is kind of comical when I've had it happen a couple times, and I've seen other people online where the post office gives you the label from the box and said, "Hey, here's the label for your box that someone sent to you. The box is missing, but here's the label. We'll give you the like the label somehow made it without the box."
Mhm. Yeah, the box just got torn up on a conveyor belt,
Yeah,
and they take off the label. They mail you the label and say, sorry, but here's the label in case you need to know that it was on its way. Yeah,
yeah.
there's nothing funny about that either because that's happened to me a few times. I used to have a consigner out of Pennsylvania, and he would send me 3, 4, 5 boxes a week, and several times I got nothing but a label.
It's frustrating. I mean, supposedly the post office has a facility in Georgia where all the loose items that fell out of a broken box end up, and you can fill a form saying, "Hey, I'm looking for this specific book that never made it to me with the box." And I've filled out plenty of those forms in the past, but I've never had an item recovered.
Right.
So
They also make it very difficult to communicate with them to
yeah,
get either
yeah,
money, even if you have insurance, even if you have priority,
yeah,
it's still a rigmarole to get the money back.
yep. It's frustrating. And you know what? Sometimes whether it's I think and actually recently I sold a really expensive book and shipped it priority
Oh
to
yes, yes, yes.
not to like halfway across the country. And it was shipped priority, so I figured it'd be there in like 2 days, and it took over 2 weeks, and I was like really worried. But luckily, it was insured. But still, I want the person to get their book. So that's so frustrating. Priority, you assume, hey, this is gonna be snappy, and it takes 2 weeks, and you. Oh, I understand right before Christmas, but this was like in the middle of the spring. So,
But do you
uh,
remember what happened to me at Christmas?
what happened?
I sold that 100 greatest Easton press set.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
It was 4 boxes and only 3 arrived. It took another 3 weeks for that fourth box to arrive, and
yeah.
that was an $8,000 set.
And the seller wasn't too impressed with you, were they?
No.
Even though there's nothing you can do, you shipped 3 boxes. I mean, yeah, that's one thing that we get messages at probably at least once a week with customers saying, "Hey, where's my package? The tracking's not updating. Like, did you ship this? I'm waiting for it. I'm mad at you because it's slow."
I'm shocked you said once a week. I thought you were going to say once a day.
I'm pretty lucky actually with everything getting there and not getting harassed by too many customers. And all you can say is I'm very sorry for the inconvenience. The post office is having some issues with delays. I'll check the tracking for you in a couple days and see if it updates and keep you posted.
So much so, I now go to the post office every day. They let me in the back and we scan each and every package going out.
Yeah, you got to get that initial scan at your post office. That's important. All right, back to the questions. Jeff says, "Hey Kent, what do you think about the popularity of Fourth Wing, the Rebecca Yarros first and special editions?" I think he's asking that because he watches my eBay auctions and buys for me, and I sold one. It was a first edition, whatever the first book was, and I think it sold for $475 plus shipping. And this is a book that came out a couple years ago, and then now the subsequent books in the series come out. So the first one, it's not rare at all. There's probably 20 or 30 copies of on up on eBay right now. This was a new condition copy, and I just auctioned it off, and I knew it's going to do well. I don't know. I think me and you talked about this, Max, about how these special editions of these new books, the ones with the sprayed edges and pretty covers and stuff, most of those, I think in about a year from now, the prices are going to crash because they're not rare, and interest is going to move on to the next hot seller of the day.
Mhm.
And these books will go from a $500 book to a $50 book, I think. It's
Yeah,
my
yeah. I think in today's culture, the great American novel can't exist anymore the way it did in the 50s or the 70s. Um, Everything moves too quick. The new Netflix movie, of the week
Yep.
replaces the last one. Um, it and so the fad of which he's talking about, the fad of these books, I love that younger people are reading. That's what I love about it. But for something to hibernate for many years and then for it to be valuable is going to be very difficult unless it gets bought by Hollywood, made into a great, phenomenal movie, and then you had the first edition because everybody now watches the movie and some people want that first edition book, which is just like the Martha Stewart when they made the documentary about her.
Hmm.
Everybody wanted the first edition Martha Stewart book of her first book. Yeah, people were getting $300 for it, but in a year from now, you won't be able to get $50 for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff says the special editions from Target and Barnes and Noble with the sprayed edges seem to be increasing in price and speculation. Yep, that's 100% true. And I think on Bookstagram, people go crazy over this hot book of the day. Prices skyrocket. People pay crazy money for them. But I think, um, there's a few that have like um, I'm trying to think. Harry Potter books are still as hot, especially signed J.K. Rowling books are as hot as they ever were. The Hunger Games, I think, are still hot and will remain high for maybe forever. I think the Harry Potter. I mean, at this point, the last Harry Potter book came out like 10 years ago or more. So that one seems to be holding high, but and that is kind of a classic of American fiction, I would say at this point.
Well, it's British fiction.
Okay, so
The first edition is British, and it's a soft cover. But that book will always hold its value because of the popularity of the movies, the books, and the
yeah.
author, and because it was only published at 5,000 copies, of which 2,500 go right to school libraries. So only 2,500 copies of this unknown author's first book were flying around England.
Yeah. And Harry Potter is, I mean, absolutely everyone in the world knows Harry Potter. Whereas like the Fourth Wing, there's a very specific set of women that have read this and love it, and it's in their zeitgeist, but not for, I mean, maybe if they make it into a movie, but even at that point, I think it's kind of like a fantasy romance sleaze kind of thing, if I think. Um,
I think we should
I,
read it next week for a book club, the Pick Our Brains book club.
I think it's pretty graphic, but I'm not sure. That's how little I know about it. I know about it, but I know nothing about it. Junkman says don't chase fads. Agreed. You can get rich. Like, well, when Jimmy Carter died recently, his prices all shot up. You can chase the fads, but I mean you have to be really really snappy. You got to be in right at the beginning and get out before prices crash.
Right, right, because the Carter signatures, it's already half
Yeah.
of what it was. It's already
Mhm.
less than half of what it was.
Yep. And again, if you can know what Marvel movie is coming out and get those comic books ahead of time,
Yep.
um, you can definitely make some quick money.
Or there's another way to do it, which is if you're I forget the name of the newspaper now, but it's the newspaper that the trade newspaper that actors and everyone in Hollywood reads every day to find out what books have sold
Hmm.
to the movies. And so if you read that paper on a daily, you can start buying up those books that get sold to Hollywood, the rights, and you can survey and forecast that type of thing too.
Oh, actually, you know what? The Disney Snow White just came out this weekend, and they've been working on it for a couple years. So if you kind of would have had that knowledge, and even at this point with Snow White just coming out last weekend, I would bet antique copies of Snow White are sky high for now. Ververica says, by the way, there's a special USPS rate for materials for the blind. It sounds like it's free. Not many people know about it. I had no idea about that. That's interesting.
And I just saw the book in Braille 2 weeks ago.
Dang it, Max. Why didn't you get the free
It
USPS
was a
rate?
it was a math book in Braille. It was a math.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you could have saved yourself $6 or $7 at least. Let's see. Junkman wants to know. He's only ever seen the blind pricing in Technomone videos on obscure media mail platforms and technology. Okay. Uh, Grayson says, at least for me, I've had much worse experiences with UPS and FedEx, even though I've used it way less. Okay.
Mm.
I will say, every time I get a package from the USPS, it's covered in dust. They ride around in these trucks all day, apparently down the back roads, and my box comes covered in dust. Don't quite understand that, but that seems to be the only thing I know about them. Jeff says that he heard they're making a movie about Fourth Wing, possibly Netflix. Two more books to come in the
All
series.
right. So you can survey that and you can buy those first editions now.
Yep.
And if it regains a huge popularity and more, of course, people are going to want to buy those first edition books.
Yeah. Interesting story. When I first got that, I put it on my Facebook page. At that point on eBay, it was selling between like 100 and 150, and I actually offered it to my local customers for $75. And no one, I was shocked, no one snagged it up. So then months later, I found it sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, oh, let's put this on eBay finally. And then I just got lucky, and it hit a high of like 400 to 500 for a new copy. And you know what? If and when the movie or the Netflix series comes out, it could turn into a $2,000 book for a little while.
Or
But it's
or somebody would pay that if somebody
yeah,
would pay that.
it,
There's
it would
always
be
some there's always somebody.
yeah, it would probably be worth investing in some copies now, especially if Netflix is because as soon as the first episode comes out on Netflix, people are gonna want the first edition.
Hmm?
Oh, there's Ryan. Ryan, RM Buccaneer in the chat.
Are you going to let him know you're going to contact him?
Yeah, yeah, Ryan, I'll reach out. I wasn't at was that Power Hour that he mentioned
Yeah.
that? That Ryan, you are hopefully going to be opening a bookstore. I definitely want some more details
And,
about
and
that.
Ryan, he may have a book deal for you as well.
Oh, 4,000 books over in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. And Ryan said I had a Snow White I had the Snow White preview in Better Homes and Gardens with a nice Gustav Tengren artwork. Sold it a year ago. I got decent money, but probably should have sat on it for a bit. Yep. Oh, so he had it in the Better Homes and Gardens magazine, a
Right.
Snow White preview.
The,
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
the advertisement. Yeah.
Yep. Junkman says Joplin Tornado Netflix movie just released. I've got a few books on that. What's the Joplin Tornado?
I don't know.
Must be a local disaster, it sounds like.
I don't Netflix movie.
All right, any more questions? We've been going for 40 minutes.
Already?
We had a steady stream of questions today. I appreciate that. You got anything exciting going on the rest of the week?
Ooh. I mean, this business, every day is different.
Oh, you did mention a potential consignment coming up.
Tomorrow I have to go visit a house of artwork, not books, but artwork in glass.
Oh.
They have Lalique. They have some the signed Irte serigraph. I need to go there tomorrow and go check it out. But I'm swamped. It's busy between Whatnot, eBay, Amazon, and Patreon. I am booked.
Do you know how this consigner found you?
A friend of a friend of a friend.
Okay.
And also I have 2 pallets coming in from Connecticut from a library that closed down.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yep.
Do you think that's going to be a lot of eBay stuff or eBay and Whatnot, or
No, that'll mostly be eBay.
yeah. Especially if it's library stuff, it's probably nice and heavy.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
the Whatnot crowd doesn't really like the heavy, expensive shipping stuff. I think. Ryan says, yeah, he's got his earbuds in, listening while packing up his storage unit. Jeff says, what do you think of the bookish custom books created for the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame editions? Beautiful sprayed edges and bindings. Again, people love the sprayed edges. I don't quite understand it because you're not going to have the edges. I mean, sure, if you have the Fourth Wing had dragons sprayed on the outside edge, but it's not custom to have the outside edge of your book. You're gonna have the spine with the dust jacket facing out. So I really don't understand the sprayed edges.
They want 4-edge without 4-edge.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point in having a picture on the outside edge? I don't know. It's a fad.
That's how I feel about slabbing comic books and grading a comic book.
Yeah,
you'll never be able to open it and look at the great artwork.
I know, but if it's a perfect condition comic book, you don't want to touch it. You can go get a digital. You can look at the digital copy, or get a junky. I have a sci-fi collector that he has duplicates, so he's trying to find the nicest copy and then a junky reading copy, because you don't necessarily want to read $100 paperback that the glue is 50 years old and is cracked and is gonna deteriorate. I don't know. Actually, Teddy Roosevelt, I think, he was gifted a lot of books and signed books and stuff, a lot of stuff on hunting, and he would take that hunting out in the snow and read it in the snow. A $500 book, he wouldn't think twice. He'd just take it out, read it in the snow. He didn't care. I'm the opposite. I want that book to sit quietly on the shelf and not get touched. Some of them are too beautiful to touch. Jeff says that we are the best. Appreciate you greatly. Yeah, we're always happy to
thank you.
Answer any questions, and we appreciate everyone's questions. Me and Max spend way too much time talking about books every week.
If only they knew. If only they knew.
Apparently,
a day in a life would be a 24-hour video.
Yeah. We sleep, eat, and breathe books, I think. All right. Well, 45 minutes. That was a great show. Want to wrap it up?
Love it. I think we had about 14, 15 people in here too. It's great.
Yep. Thank you
Okay.
all for the
Yeah.
questions.
I don't want to make the promise, but I hope to make the promise that we will do the whatnot video this week. Sometime, some way, we're going to get it done. And hopefully we can announce when it will be on your channel next week.
Yep, and I have a couple videos coming out this week. I have one bookstore tour of Driftless Books in Viroqua. That
Mhm.
one's coming out this week for sure because he's opening on April 1st. So here in like he's opening next Tuesday, I think. And then also I'm doing one explaining a consignment deal. Someone mailed me a few boxes of books, so I'm gonna go through that whole process and show you about my consignment deals. So those two are for sure coming out. What about you? Do you have a couple videos coming out?
I have two destination unknowns and one curiosity coming out. And then I'm working on doing a couple new paper golder member videos. So I
Cool.
have that working. So I have about five things about to come out. So the YouTube channel will be busy.
All right. Well, thank you all. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you next Monday.